Hey everybody, Mr. Ayers here. Today we are going to continue working on our art about the Middle Ages, or inspired by the Middle Ages, the art from the Middle Ages. So we're going to talk about something called an illuminated manuscript, and then we're going to design our own illuminated initial. Okay, so here's another guest art teacher to introduce this topic, so you have a better understanding of illuminated manuscripts from medieval or middle age, from the Middle Ages. Here we go.
Hi artists, it's Miss Messer, your friendly neighborhood art teacher. A lot of times I teach you about contemporary artists. That's artists making artwork right now. But today we're going to go back in time hundreds of years to talk about something called illuminated manuscripts. We're going to go back to the era called the Middle Ages, which was from about the year 500 to the year 1500. Hundreds of years ago, during this time, before there were computers, before even a ballpoint pen was invented or paper was mass produced, it was really expensive to print books. And mostly, unless you were really rich, you didn't know how to read or write anyway. But sometimes people like kings or priests did want books, especially books they thought were important, like the Bible. And instead of having them be all words, they wanted them to have illustrations to make them more interesting. Having illustrations on them also helped those who couldn't read understand what was happening. These books were called illuminated manuscripts. Illuminated means that something is lit up, kind of like a Christmas tree. But they didn't have Christmas tree lights, so they used gold paint to make it look like the pages were shimmering. Manuscript means book, but it comes from a Latin word that means written by hand. That's because all of these illuminated manuscripts, hundreds of pages, were written by hand without the aid of technology. The whole book could take, wait for it, up to 20 years to complete. So today, artists, we're going to start by making an illuminated letter. Not a whole book, just a letter. We will use one letter from our name. We will use a theme for our work, and we will bring with us the knowledge of art history to create our own illuminated letters. All right, let's take a look at a couple examples, noticing as many details as you can. So check out this letter X. Notice there's a man on the X, that's true, but there's also a very interesting background complete with patterns. Same with this one. Check out the pattern around the O and in the hole behind the woman. Here we have some figures inside the openings of the letter B, but we also have very intricate patterns on the sides of the B itself. We've got the letter P, and the fish are making the letter itself. So they're forming the lines that make the letter. The same goes for this, another P, but this time it's a dog that's forming that shape. And then here's a great example of a theme. It's the letter B, but we can see it's a theme of flower or garden, and we can see that in the choices that the artist is making. Today we're going to start with an idea drawing to get some of your ideas flowing. This is the first step on your project completion sheet. So I'm going to show you how to complete it so you can make an awesome artwork. Write your name and class code and then choose one letter from your first or last name and write it. I'm going to write M for Messer. Okay, my next step is to practice writing the letter as a block letter in the box to the right. First, I'm going to lightly write out that letter that I chose in its capital form. I'm going to fill the whole box with the letter, but I'll leave a little bit of room around it. Then I'm going to draw a box around the letter that I just drew.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pause it right there, and then for this next part, I want you to practice what she just did. So I want you to pick an initial, and then I want you to practice writing it on the back of your paper that you're going to use for this project. Here's an example. Okay, so on the back of your paper, I want you to use a pencil and I want you to practice. So just start by writing a letter of the alphabet. So there's my letter. And then I'm going to write it again here. Okay, so once you write the letter, then you're going to want to trace around it. Okay, so I'm going to go around the B. There we go. And then I'm going to add this part. Then you can erase the original letter of the alphabet that was inside. So that way it's just a solid double letter. All right. There you go, there's my B. Let me share my screen again, and then I'll give you guys some time to do that right now. So on the back of your paper, you're just drawing a letter and then tracing around it. I will give you, I don't know, 2 minutes. Shouldn't take too long. Draw one letter of the alphabet, right? All right, 2 minutes. Go ahead and do that now. Okay, so hopefully by now you are done with that part. Let's see what the next step is.
Then I grab my eraser and erase the inside line. Last, I make any necessary changes to improve my block letter. So the third question asks you to choose a theme for your illuminated letter. Think of things you enjoy. For example, some ideas might be night, music, football, summer, winter, flowers. I chose the theme of fall because it's my favorite season. The fourth question asks you to practice in drawing out your block letter in the bottom box and then illustrate it with your theme. Include a border that makes sense for your theme. So I'm going to start out by drawing the block letter the same as I did before, filling up almost the whole space, starting with that light letter, and then drawing a box around it. Then I erase the inside line. And now I'm free to start adding my theme into my work. I can use the theme of this drawing to tell a story just like the illuminated letters of the past did. Or I can choose to illustrate the idea of something. I'm going to choose to illustrate the idea of fall. It helps me to make a list of things I can draw that go with this theme of fall, like leaves, pumpkins, the color of fall, like red, yellow, orange, and brown. I could draw a scarecrow. I could add parts of Halloween and Thanksgiving, but I decided I want to draw some hills in the background, add leaves to my letter, and add other details to my work. Watch to see how I finish my work. And now you know all the steps to start your own. I am so excited to see how these turn out. Good luck and have fun.
Okay, so you can see that she moves on to creating her final product, which is an illuminated initial. But she did some other steps first. So I want to start by doing that as well. So I'm going to, let me see, how do I stop sharing my screen? Okay, stop sharing. Okay, so just double check here. Okay, so on the back of my paper where I have created my letter of the alphabet, I'm going to brainstorm about some things that I can add for my theme. So I have the letter B here, and I think I'm going to have like a bumblebee type theme. So I'm going to put B, let's see, yellow and black for colors. So let's flowers, because bees like flowers. And let's just say like plants. Okay. And I think for the B, I'll do view. Let's go side view. And from the top. Okay, so at this point, why don't you take a minute or so to start brainstorming about things you want to add for your theme to your illuminated initial. And I'll give you a few minutes to do that. I'll give you a couple minutes to brainstorm right now. So let's do that. Where's my timer? Okay, so take 2 minutes to do some brainstorming. Get some ideas for what you're going to add right now. Okay, so at this point, you are ready to start drawing the real project on the other side of your paper. Stop sharing here. Here we go. Okay, so here's my paper. I've already brainstormed my ideas, and now I'm going to flip it over. I've already sketched out what I am going to do, but your first step is to draw the border. Okay, so across the edges, I want you to create a simple border. You know, if you have a ruler, now would be the time to use it. Okay, so I want you to make 2 rectangles. The first one was following the edge of the paper. The second one on the inside is following the line that you drew, the first line that you drew. Okay, so you should have a box like that. All right, and then it's the same steps for creating the letter of the alphabet that you've chosen. So the first thing you want to do is you want to just draw the letter as normal. Okay, so you draw, I'm drawing a B. Okay, and then I'm going to trace around it to make it into a bubble letter. Start right here. I'm going to trace around that letter of the alphabet right now to create. Make it a little fancy here. Put a little swirl to create that bubble letter. And then I've got these 2 openings for the letter B. All right, and then you're going to want to start adding all of those ideas that you have had for your theme. So for me, I'm gonna do bumblebees. And put some stripes, eyes, antenna, got some little legs, wings. You know, you can put these in the openings around the letter B. So that was the view from on top. I also can add another B on the outside. That's the profile view. And there's other decorations as well. So I'm gonna put some decorations within that border. One of my other ideas was the flower. And other kinds of plants. There's just some kind of vegetation, maybe like leaves and water drops for the plants. All right, you can decorate the letter itself as well. I'm going to put some decorative lines. Okay, so you can see I've started to add all the details from my theme, and I'm tracing my lines with something darker, whether it's just pressing harder with your pencil, or if you have a marker, great, use that, or a black colored pencil or a black crayon even. It's whatever you have available. Why don't you take about 5 minutes to start drawing your border and your letter and start adding all of the details from your theme. Go ahead and do that right now. Let's switch to the timer. Share my screen. And you guys have about 5 minutes to do that. Go ahead and start that right now. Okay, so we're just about out of time for starting to draw. I never said you had to finish drawing that right now, just starting to, but I wanted to show you if you are finished drawing and tracing all your lines, I wanted to share with you what the next step was. Stop sharing my screen there. My paper, we are going to continue practicing gradation when we color. So I'm going to just pick my favorite color, is green, and I'm going to start at the bottom, and I want to show you just what I mean by gradation. So you start by pressing really hard with whatever you're coloring with, whether it's a crayon, colored pencil, I got some oil pastels, it's whatever you have. Okay, so you start by pressing really hard, and as you color across the paper, you start to lighten the pressure. And I'm lightening the pressure and I'm lightening the pressure until I'm barely scratching the surface of the paper. And you can see it kind of goes from, well, it doesn't kind of go, it goes from dark to light. Okay. And so I want you to start adding colors to your illuminated manuscript. And I want you to practice gradation, shading from dark to light. You don't have to even be good at it. Okay, you get full credit just for trying and practicing. So I'll give you another 5 minutes to go ahead and start doing that right now. Where is my share button? Oh, there it is. Let's do 4 minutes. so that is all the time that I have with you today. Here's how much shading from dark to light I was able to do during those minutes. So over the next week, finish adding color to your project. Make sure all your lines are traced. And remember to keep practicing gradation. And I really, really look forward to seeing these when they're all finished. I think they're going to be awesome. Make sure you bring them to class so you can share them with me at that time. All right, see you all next time.